ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापत्कमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं सतं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णा पादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चना गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य ईश्वरं गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So we are reading Nectar of Instruction, verse 3. Anyone wants to recite this from memory? या पहले एक बार कर लेते हैं फिर whoever, let's do one time. Lead and follow, then whoever wants to recite, let's do that. We'll do 3 or 4 times this verse. Verse 3. उत्साहनिश्चयाद्धैर्यात्
उत्साहनिश्चयाद्धैर्यात्
तत्तत् कर्म प्रवर्तनात् तत्तत्
कर्म प्रवर्तनात्
संगत्यागात् सतो वृत्ते
संगत्यागात् तत्सतो वृत्ते
षड्भिर्भक्ति प्रसिद्ध्यति
षड्भिर्भक्ति प्रसीद्यति.
Okay, anyone remembers this? And I'll keep it on the screen. So.
I can recite.
Yes.
Utsaha
Let Nagachan Prabhu recite and then you do.
उत्साहनिश्चयाद्धैर्यात्
उत्साहनिश्चयाद्धैर्यात्
तत्तत् कर्म प्रवर्तनात्
तत्तत् कर्म प्रवर्तनात्
संगत्याजेत् सतो वृत्ते
संगत्यागात् सतो वृत्ते
षड्भिर्भक्ति प्रसीद्यति.
षड्भिर्भक्ति
प्रसिद्ध्यति.
Anyone?
हरि बोल.
Yes.
उत्साह निश्चयात् धैर्यते
उत्साहनिश्चयाद्धैर्यात्
तत्तत् कर्म प्रवर्तनात्
तत्तत् कर्म प्रवर्तनात्
संगत्यागात् सातो वर्तिते
संगत्यागात्
सतो वृत्ते
सद्भिर्भक्ति
सतो वृत्ते
सद्भिर्भक्ति प्रसिद्ध्यते
षड्भिर्भक्ति प्रसीद्यति.
हरि बोल.
Any others?
Mataji, I can try.
Yes. You doing it from memory, Mataji?
No, not for memory, Mataji.
Okay, next time.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Go ahead, please.
Oh, sorry. Utsahan nishyad dhairayat.
उत्साहनिश्चयाद्धैर्यात्
Tattat karma pravartanat.
तत्तत् कर्म प्रवर्तनात्
Sangatyagat sato vratte.
संगत्यागत् सतो वृत्ते
Shadbir bhakti prasidyati.
षड्भिर्भक्ति प्रसीद्यति.
Any others?
I can try, Mataji.
Yes.
उत्साहान्निश्चयधैर्यात्
उत्साहनिश्चयाद्धैर्यात्
तत्तत् कर्म प्रवर्तनात्
तत्तत् कर्मा
कर्मा
प्रवर्तनात्
संगत्यागत् सतो वृत्ते
संगत्यागात् सतो
सतो
वृत्ते
वृत्ते
षड्भिर्भक्ति प्रसत्यति
षड्भिर्भक्ति प्रसीद्यति.
प्रसीद्यति.
Okay. Is that okay? Let's go to the verse. So, I have a PowerPoint that I will share, which we can discuss today. So, this verse is giving us 6 elements, 6 virtues that one needs in order to advance or flourish in the path of devotional service, in the path of bhakti. Okay, 6 virtues, 6 qualities that we need. So this is how I understand these 3 verses so far. This is verse 3. Verse 1, we talked about Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udar Upastha Vegam. So we talked about 6 urges that need to be controlled. So the way I understand that first verse is, Rup Goswami is telling us how to live in this body. We are the soul living in this material body. So how should the soul or jiva live inside this body? How should it live? By controlling various elements of the body, by controlling various gross and subtle elements like your 6 senses, your mind, all these things. You have to control the body, mind, and senses. And that's how, by regulating them, you can live nicely in this body. You can make this body a comfortable place for the duration that you have it, and it will help you to progress. So you should have control of your body and mind, which have been given to you. So that was the first verse, how to live in the body. The second verse was Atyahar Prayasascha Prajalpa Niyamagraha, right? That verse told us the 6 things to be avoided in this world, the 6 things that we should control in this world. We should not engage with in this through these things in this world, like how much to talk with other people, how much to consume, how many things to consume from this world, like atyahar, how much to endeavor or perform activities in this world, like prayas, how much to enjoy this world, like lolyam or greed. So those things tell us, that verse tells us how to live in this world. The first was how to live in this body. The second was now this body and we are living in this world, how to live in this world, okay, in such a way that the world is not harmful to us, that the world is favorable for our bhakti. But if you engage too much with this world, too much atyahar, too much prayas, too much prajalpa, breaking the rules while living in this world, niyamagraha, right? All those things, janasanga, lolyam, they will destroy your bhakti. So don't live in this world in that way. So how to live in this world? Then this verse tells you how to stay alive in bhakti, okay? How to stay alive in devotional service. So once the jiva realizes that he's a spiritual entity and he should have a control of his body, he should not let the body decide things for him. He should be deciding things for the body. So he has control of his senses and mind. He is deciding how to live in this body because he is a spiritual entity. Then he decides, how should I live in this world? In the second verse, I should engage with these people this much, these activities this much, talking this much, eating this much, work this much, all this. He has decided how to live in this world. And now he's engaging on a spiritual path. He's starting on a spiritual path. So how to stay alive on that spiritual path, how to stay active, how to stay absorbed and even flourish, even advance in the spiritual path, on the path of bhakti. So that is what this verse tells us. So if we imbibe these 6 elements in our life, then we can flourish, we can excel in the path of bhakti. Does everyone want to excel in bhakti?
Yes, Mataji.
You know how in school we are always trying to be the topper or first grade, Ana chahiye, second, A plus, A. So do we all want A plus? In bhakti, this is the one thing where we should be trying to excel, hai na? So this is where we do need A plus grades. So this verse tells you how to get the A+ grade, how to excel in bhakti, how to not only stay alive in bhakti, not only to just continue on the path of bhakti, but actually progress and advance, flourish on the path of bhakti. That's what this verse tells us. So in the last class, we had discussed what is bhakti, what is devotional service. Prabhupada has translated bhakti into devotional service. And we understood from Prabhupada's purport that bhakti is not just a mere sentiment. It is actually, it is not just imaginative ecstasy. You can see, I have a PowerPoint, so you can see on your screen. It is not just sentiments. It's not just imagination. It's not just idle meditation. It is actually an action. It is actually the love, the divine love is expressed through a tangible activity, through some kind of service, through some kind of work, some Krishna conscious favorable activity. And how should that activity be? That activity needs to be favorable to Krishna. So then Prabhupada had given us this verse, Anya Bhilashita Shunyam. It should be devoid of any ulterior motives. It should be devoid of any motivation like personal agendas or some fruitive benefits or those kind of desires. It should not be contaminated by any material desires. Anya Bilashita Shunyam. It should be ahetuki bhakti, causeless bhakti. So devotional service, you engage in a service which is unmotivated, which is uninterrupted, ahetuki. It should be ahetuki or uninterrupted, meaning it should be consistent. It should be seamless. It should be ceaseless. It should not stop. It should not stop based on the material circumstances. It should keep going. That is uninterrupted, ceaseless or seamless, and it should be causeless or motiveless. Okay, Anya Bhilashita. And that action should be favorable to Krishna. Anukullena Krishnanu. Okay, anukulya honi chahiye Krishna ke liye. Sheelanam bhaktir uttama. Cultivate that kind of uttam bhakti. Sheelanam means to cultivate. So cultivate this type of uttam bhakti. This is called uttam bhakti, which is devoid of any motivation, which is continuous and which is favorable to Krishna. That, and it should be an activity. It should be a service. It should be some kind of work. And Prahlad Maharaj has told us what are those works, what are those services. So there are 9 limbs of devotional service. Any of those activities can be devotional service. You can engage in all 9 of them. You can engage in some of them, in one of them, but by engaging in any of these activities of devotional services, you can perfect your life. And we have examples in Srimad Bhagavatam that just by engaging in Shravanam, Parikshit Maharaj attained perfection of life. Just by engaging in Kirtanam or glorification of the Lord, Shukdev Goswami perfected his life. Just by engaging in Vishnu Smarnam, Prahlad Maharaj perfected his life. Like that, there are examples for Archanam, Padasevanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivednam, everything. So those are the various activities of devotional service. So we understood what is devotional service. Now this is, I will move on to the next understanding. So before we get into the verse, we had already discussed out of the 6 elements that are needed to flourish devotional service, we had already discussed the 3 of them. But I'm going to take a step back and let's start from something very basic. Please look at this to understand. This is a flowchart that I made. And we were talking about faith yesterday, so I thought this was a nice understanding. Please, please pay attention to try to understand this. Everybody understands what is a vicious circle? कोई बता सकता है vicious circle क्या होता है? We often use this term, especially in medicine, this term is used, vicious circle.
Kind of keeps going and going and going
हाँ,
continuously.
चलते रहता है ना? मतलब इसमें क्या होता है, vicious circle में एक चीज से दूसरी चीज होती है और वो दूसरी चीज पहली चीज को और बढ़ा देती है. वो पहली चीज और पहली चीज दूसरी चीज को बढ़ा देती है. I will give you an example. I'll give you a medical example because that you will all understand. क्योंकि medicine में ये vicious circle का example बहुत देते हैं. So you know, let's say somebody is very obese. Somebody has is very big, obese है, obesity है, weight gain है बहुत ज़्यादा. So they will have joint problems. You agree that they will have joint problem? So one thing has led to the second thing. Obesity has led to the joint problems. You agree? Yes.
Yes, Mataji.
है ना, जॉइंट पे, नीज वगैरह पे, बैक पे बहुत वेट पड़ने से जॉइंट प्रॉब्लम्स होंगी उस व्यक्ति को. Joint problems की वजह से he won't be able to exercise, so he will have more weight gain. You agree? है ना? Joint की problem की वजह से वो exercise नहीं कर पा रहा, चल नहीं पा रहा, exercise नहीं कर पा रहा, he is just bed bound or something, so he will have more weight gain or no? Yes?
Yeah. Yes.
Then the weight gain will cause more joint problems, and more joint problem will cause more weight gain. In this way, this is a vicious circle. So one thing is enhancing the second thing, and second thing is enhancing the first thing. First thing is enhancing the second thing more, second thing is enhancing the first thing. जैसे कल हमने एक example लिया था vicious circle का. And now this was an unpleasant example that I just gave you. Now the pleasant example that we discussed yesterday was that when Krishna is joyful, Gopi's beauty increases. And when Gopi's beauty increases, by looking at them, Krishna becomes more joyful. When Krishna becomes more joyful, seeing him happy, their Gopi's beauty increases even more. When Krishna sees their beauty going more, he becomes more joyful. Is this an example of vicious cycle? One thing is increasing the second thing is increasing the first thing more. In this way, it keeps going. Is that right? Did everyone understand that, those two examples? Then I can go to the next thing.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, very sweet.
So now, having said those unpleasant and pleasant examples, let's go to this example of faith and devotional service. Now, people can have entrance into the spiritual path through either of these. ऐसा हो सकता है कि किसी का पहले faith था थोड़ा बहुत, ठीक है, किसी भी वजह से, previous conditioning, previous experiences in this life, somehow they have certain faith in Lord. So then they start engaging in some devotional service. So follow this arrow. Because of some faith, Adav Shraddha. First thing, they had some faith. So they engaged in some devotional service. When they engaged in service, जैसे हमारे पास कई बार लोग आ जाते हैं कि ओके हम जन्माष्टमी पे सर्व करेंगे, खाना सर्व करेंगे या क्लीनिंग करेंगे, बहुत ज्यादा एक्टिव नहीं है, they are not very active on spiritual path, but because they have some faith, they want to serve in some way. So they will either, serve in something. They'll clean, they will cook, or they will serve, or they will hear, anything. So they will engage in some kind of devotional service. By performing that devotional service, they will see that they have changes in their heart. They will see some improvement in themselves, and they will see that Krishna is also reciprocating with them in their life, right? So because of that, their faith will increase more. Agree? Devotional service में engage होने से pleasant experience आएगा, भक्तों से pleasant experience मिलेगा, the joy of service that will satisfy them very deeply, and they will feel their transformation of heart happening. And by practicing this devotional service, they will see some Krishna's reciprocation also happening. So their faith will increase more. When faith increases more, they will practice devotional service even harder. Now they will become more intense in devotional service, right? They will become more sincere, more serious towards devotional service. As they become more serious and more sincere, more changes of heart will happen, more joy will come, more anarthas will go away, and more Krishna's reciprocation will happen. More, so faith will solidify even more. तो ये एक विशियस सर्कल है कि कहीं से भी एंट्रेंस हो सकती है. अब ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि वो फेथलेस था, ठीक है, कोई व्यक्ति फेथ, पहले तो वो कोई व्यक्ति था जिसको थोड़ा फेथ था, that's why he engaged in devotional service. So his entrance may be right here, but now he is in a circle. Now he got stuck in this circle. ऐसा भी हो सकता है he was faithless, but he engaged in devotional service just क्योंकि किसी ने उसको कुछ लगा दिया काम पे कि देखो हमें हेल्प चाहिए, ठीक है, भगवान को नहीं मानते, but can you just help us with this? उसने किसी भी तरीके से हेल्प कर दी, कुछ बना दिया, कुछ कर दिया, कुछ पैसे दे दिया, कुछ भी करके उसने हेल्प कर दी. He was otherwise not much of a believer, but he engaged in some service half-heartedly, या किसी को please oblige करने के लिए he engaged in some service. Now, when he did that, though, he felt joy, he felt satisfaction, he felt very nice. He also felt some changes, tangible changes in his heart that gave him very nice feeling. So then his faith will grow. Then his faith will start. His spark of faith will suddenly light up in his heart. And then next time also he will engage in devotional service. Then his faith will solidify more. So now he's also stuck in this vicious cycle. So it does not matter where that person entered, whether he had some faith and entered into devotional service, or whether he was completely faithless and entered in devotional service. But devotional service is so powerful that it will take you into this vicious cycle where one thing will increase the other. Devotional service करते रहने से continuously, uninterruptedly, उसको faith बढ़ता जाए, और faith बढ़ते रहने से that person will get more firmly situated in devotional service. तो ये चलता रहेगा, ये cycle. Now, is this clear before I give the next understanding now? This vicious cycle is clear, जैसे पहले बताया था उसका example से. Or
Yes,
is it
Mataji.
it's not too complicated?
No, Mataji. Thank you.
Okay. Now, जैसे अब let's go back to that example of weight gain and joint pain. Now that person was obese and he was having joint pain. As he was having joint pain, he was not able to exercise, so he was gaining more weight. More weight gain से more joint problems हो रही थी. He was stuck in that cycle. So then किसी डॉक्टर ने intervene किया और उसको weight loss की दवाई दी. ठीक है? He attacked his weight. So in this way, he broke him out of that vicious cycle. Right? तो कोई बाहर की चीज देने से वो vicious cycle break किया जा सकता है. Now, a devotee is stuck in this nice vicious cycle of faith and devotional service. We want to stay in this cycle. But what happens is, we are in this material world where there are a lot of external factors, material activities hain, people hain, that can influence us, in a negative way and attack us. Either they can attack our faith, you can see the middle arrow, either they can attack our faith or they can attack our services. So one way or the other, or material situation हो सकती है कोई external situation, कोई health problem, कोई money problem, कोई family related problem, कोई completely predicted circumstance can arise, which can attack either our faith or devotional service. So then that will break this cycle, this nice cycle that a devotee had going on, in which he was engaging in devotional service. His faith was growing. As his faith was growing, he was becoming more sincere in devotional service. So he was in this nice cycle, and he was this way he was uplifting his consciousness, and he was heading back to Godhead. लेकिन अब बाहरी चीजों से अटैक हो गया, तो हो सकता है कि उसका faith shatter हो जाए या उसकी services में interruption आ जाए. For one or the other thing can happen. And when that happens, then the cycle will break. So the second verse, that's why I told you how much to engage with this material world. Don't get out of this cycle. Otherwise, these things can attack your devotional service. That is why Shadbir Bhaktir Vinashyati. So these things are the external things that can get you out of this nice cycle that you had going on. Okay. Then the verse 3 tells us, so we have, in order to guard this cycle, this nice cycle that we are in, we need some catalyst. Catalyst क्या होता है? Anyone knows what is a catalyst? Catalyst बोल सकते हैं, enzyme बोल सकते हैं, like in medical terms we say enzymes. What does, in chemistry it is said catalyst. कोई यहाँ पर है chemistry का?
जो reaction को बढ़ा देता है. जो reaction हो रहा होता है उसको बढ़ा देता है, that is a catalyst.
या जो उसको स्टिमुलेट कर देता है, उसको बढ़ा देता है. कोई चीज स्लो पेस पे होनी थी, उसने उसको स्टिमुलेट कर दिया, ऑगमेंट कर दिया, बढ़ा दिया. जैसे हमारी बॉडी में एंजाइम्स होते हैं, दैट आर कैटलिस्ट, है ना. बहुत सारे एंजाइम होते हैं, सो मेनी एंजाइम्स इन आवर बॉडी. द बेस्ट एग्जांपल इज डाइजेस्टिव एंजाइम्स, कि जब फूड जाता है तो वो उस फूड को ब्रेक डाउन करते हैं. एंजाइम्स जो होते हैं उसको कैटलाइज करते हैं, उस रिएक्शन को, सो दैट फूड गेट्स डाइजेस्टेड नाइसली. सो एंजाइम्स या कैटलिस्ट होते हैं जो पावर अप या स्पीड अप करते हैं किसी चीज को. So since we are so much at attack from material activities and material situations and circumstances from outside, we have to guard this vicious cycle by adding some catalysts. So this verse gives you these 6 elements. Okay, उत्साहन निश्चया धैर्य तत्तत् कर्मा प्रवर्तनात् संग त्यागात् सतो वृत्ते. These are the 6 elements, 6 qualities, 6 virtues that act as the catalyst, so that this reaction of faith to devotional service, this cycle will continue, and material activities will be powerless. Material situations, external situations will not be able to get you out of this nice cycle. So we have to add this catalyst of these 6 elements. So this is how I'm understanding this verse. तो इसको थोड़ा आगे लेते हैं हम. Let's talk a little bit. So before we get to this catalyst of 6 elements, faith is very important. Okay? Because we are engaging in devotional service, and and our faith is slowly increasing. But what is this faith in? What is our faith in? हम कह रहे हैं faith बढ़ रहा है. किस चीज में faith बढ़ रहा है? There are two things we need to have faith in. If we have these two things, if we have faith in these two things, तो जो ये catalyst है इनको हम add कर पाएंगे अपनी life में. What are these two things? We should have faith in these two things in the path of bhakti. Number one, we should have complete faith that spiritual activities are our only hope in life. Okay, as a soul, as a jiva, spiritual life or spiritual activities are what matters. They are the only thing that really matters. The material activities, material life are also only to help that spiritual life. Okay, the material activities are there to help maintaining your body, your family together. They're there to support the spiritual life. Okay, but ultimately the core or the center is the spiritual life. That is one thing we should be clear about, that when you engage in spiritual activities, there is no danger and only benefit. ठीक है, कभी ऐसा नहीं सोचना चाहिए कि मैं ये कर तो रहा हूँ लेकिन इसका क्या फायदा. So material activities करने से short term में quick फायदा दिखता है, quick benefit दिखता है, but spiritual activities give benefit in a more long term and very subtle way, and not everybody is able to see the results or progress easily because the results are very subtle, the progress is very subtle. Okay, क्योंकि हम ग्रॉस लेवल पे नहीं, बॉडी लेवल पे नहीं हो रहे हैं बेनिफिट्स हमको नेसेसरीली. द बेनिफिट्स आर हैपनिंग ऑन अ स्पिरिचुअल प्लेन, एंड वी आर वेरी ट्यून्ड टू सी ओनली बॉडीली बेनिफिट्स और ग्रॉस बेनिफिट्स. वी आर नॉट एबल टू सी द स्पिरिचुअल बेनिफिट्स. वो हमें क्योंकि दिखाई नहीं देते, वी कैन नॉट अप्रिशिएट देम, सो वी थिंक कि कोई फायदा नहीं हो रहा. इसलिए क्या फायदा चैंटिंग करने का, रोज क्या बार बार यही माला करो, कुछ क्या. तो जो चेंजेस हो रहे हैं, दे आर हैपनिंग ऑन अ वेरी सटल लेवल. द ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन ऑफ हार्ट, द क्लिनजिंग ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस, अपलिफ्टमेंट, एंड जो पायस क्रेडिट्स या जो हमारे पाप कट रहे हैं वो हमको दिख थोड़ी ना रहे हैं. वी कैन नॉट सी कि पाप की पोथी कम होती जा रही है. वी कैन नॉट सी दैट. सो इट इज very difficult to see those results, that progress, but we should have faith in that knowledge that spiritual activities are giving me benefit, even though I cannot appreciate from my position right now. They are eternal. और material life में कितना भी दिमाग लगा लो, कितनी भी money, energy, resources, time लगा लो, short term में yes, you are seeing benefits, but ultimately they either cause entanglement or they are, they become zero again at the end of this life and you have to start again. So ultimately they do become zero or even cause minus credits, but not really helpful unless they are related to the Lord. So spiritual activities से कभी danger नहीं होगा, benefit हो रहा है, इस बात पे पूरा faith होना चाहिए. That is number one. Okay. Number two, faith होना चाहिए कि Krishna will definitely protect us. Okay, Krishna is our only soul protector. He's our only soul maintainer, sustainer, well-wisher, protector, friend. ये पता होना चाहिए that he has our back. When he says सर्व धर्म परित्याजा माम एकम शरणम व्रजा, we should have full faith in that statement. तो faith इन दो चीजों में होना चाहिए. और कृष्णा की प्रोटेक्शन जो है, ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है कि this is very important to understand. Krishna's protection may or may not be for the body. Okay, ऐसा नहीं है कि किसी को बॉडीली कोई हार्म हो गया तो आप कहोगे कि ओ इस डिवोटी को कृष्णा ने क्यों नहीं प्रोटेक्ट किया, इनको क्यों बीमारी हो गई, या ये क्यों, इनका क्यों एक्सीडेंट हो गया. सो कृष्णा इज प्रोटेक्टिंग यू, द स्पिरिट सोल. That protection may or may not be seen through the protection of the body. His protection may be manifested by harming the body. Okay, so we should not think कि अगर मुझे, our faith should not dwindle just because there are some problems coming in life, because just because we are so tuned to see everything on bodily level, it doesn't mean that Krishna's protection will only be on the bodily level. When Krishna says name bhakta pranashyati, bhakta is not, body is not the bhakta. You, the soul, the jiva is the bhakta. भक्त का कभी नाश नहीं होगा, उसकी स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ, उसकी अपलिफ्टमेंट गारंटीड है. सो दैट वी शुड नो. So remember that for faith, spiritual activities will not cause any danger. They are not wasted ever. They are eternal. They give everlasting credits and most beneficial for soul. And they at any day or time they supersede any material activity. Material activity का कोई उनके सामने वो नहीं है, standing नहीं है. We should know that. और remember नेहा विक्रमा नाशो अस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्वल्पमपि अस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्. It will save you from the greatest dangers. Secondly, Krishna will definitely protect us. We should have complete faith in his protection. और इसके बारे में ये 3 चीजें आती हैं. क्यों सिर्फ कृष्णा ही प्रोटेक्ट कर सकते हैं? Because number one, only Krishna has the ability to protect us. Only Krishna has these 3 qualities. He has intention to protect us, he has ability to protect us, and he has awareness to protect us. मतलब क्या हुआ इसका? जैसे he has intention, जैसे मान लो मैं किसी प्रॉब्लम में हूँ, तो maybe my mom wants to protect me, but she has intention. So she has intention, but she may not be aware that I'm in problem. So she may not have awareness, even though she may have capability to protect me, but she may not be aware. Similarly, it's possible now she has intention. She may even be aware that I'm in difficulty, but she may not be able to protect me. She may not have the ability. So there is only one person who has complete awareness of our difficulty, complete ability to get us out of that difficulty, and complete intention to get us out of that difficulty. Because he's the only well-wisher. He's the best not only, but best well-wisher. Well-wisher तो बहुत होते हैं दुनिया में, लेकिन best well-wisher क्योंकि he can actually do something about it. Not everybody is either aware or able to do something about it. So it's like we should know that Krishna can protect us. So if we have faith in these 2 things, okay, then ये जो 6 elements जो हमें add करने हैं to keep this cycle going, we will be able to add these 6 elements. So अब वो 6 elements क्या हैं? Come to that. Is everybody following it so far? I'll just take a pause and see what reflections are. Is it getting too complicated?
No, Mataji, everything is good.
Okay. Rekha Mataji, Namita Mataji, Hiral Mataji, Vidushi Mataji, everything good so far?
Yes, Mataji, it's going good.
Yes,
Okay.
Mataji.
ठीक है. तो अब हम आते हैं, इस वर्स को मैंने कोट किया है, जैसे मैंने बोला फर्स्ट वर्स वाज हाउ टू स्टे इन दिस बॉडी, सेकंड वर्स वाज हाउ टू स्टे इन दिस वर्ल्ड, द थर्ड वर्स इज हाउ टू स्टे अलाइव इन भक्ति, हाउ टू कीप दैट साइकिल गोइंग एंड flourish. So there are 6 catalysts, 6 things that can flourish this bhakti. Okay, तो उसको भी फर्दर 3 एलिमेंट्स हैं, 3 करके डिवाइड किया है. सबसे पहले हमने 3 कर लिए थे पिछली बार डिस्कस, उत्साह, निश्चय एंड धैर्य. Okay, utsaha means enthusiasm, nischay means determination, and dhairya means patience, like steadfastness, patience, fortitude. So we need enthusiasm, determination and patience, these 3 things. तो जो हमने ये बात की थी पिछली बार कि ये जो पहले 3 एलिमेंट्स हैं, उत्साह, निश्चय एंड धैर्य, ये अंदर का मामला है. ओके, दिस इज इंटरनल एलिमेंट्स. मतलब उत्साह जो है कि ऐसा नहीं कि इफ somebody is dancing very actively, very हाइपर होके कोई बहुत जोर जोर से बोल रहा है या नाच रहा है तो वो एंथुजियास्टिक है, और जो कोई कामली बोल रहा है या थोड़ा सोबर लग रहा है वो एंथुजियास्टिक नहीं है. एंथुजियाज्म, डिटर्मिनेशन एंड पेशेंस इज विद इन, अंदर की बात है. ये आपके अंदर कितना जॉय है, कितनी एंथुजियाज्म, कितनी एक्साइटमेंट है, आपके अंदर कितनी determination या patience है to carry on this path, that is internal matter. Okay, ऐसा नहीं कि बाहर नहीं हमें joy express करनी, बाहर also you are joyful, बाहर also you are showing, but it doesn't mean that you get carried away or you become hyper or you start bothering people. या you ऐसा नहीं है. So you have to stay enthusiastic inside, you have to be eager, you have to be enthusiastic to learn, that is enthusiasm, right? You should be trying to improve. तो वो enthusiasm है. ऐसे ही determination से करना है कि consistently करना है, that I have to, with commitment, I have decided, I have committed to this thing, so with determination अड़े रहो. एक बहुत सुंदर poem है actually हरिवंश राय बच्चन की, कि अड़े रहो. Amitabh Bachchan often quotes that poem कि हटो मत हटो, because as you have now realized have full faith that this is the only thing that is helpful and hopeful for the jiva. If this is the only thing that will help you and give you best hope for advancement, then ade raho. Okay, so don't give up. So determination, and then patience. Patience matlab don't कि भाई अभी कुछ रिजल्ट नहीं मिल रहा तो छोड़ देते हैं, becoming restless, you know. No, don't become agitated or restless. This is again very, very subtle changes. They will take time. So as long as with joy and determination you just stay on the path, have patience, you will see Krishna's reciprocation. लोग छोड़ क्यों देते हैं? क्योंकि उनको प्रोग्रेस नहीं दिख रही होती, या फिर उनको कृष्णा की रेसिप्रोकेशन नहीं दिख रही होती. बट ये सब भी होगा, टाइम से होगा. जस्ट डोंट गिव अप. So don't get distracted too easily. Stay patient, stay focused, stay on the path patiently. Okay, so these first three elements are something that are inspiring you from within to continue on this path. तो ये जो हमने catalyst बोले थे, ये 6 elements इस devotional service में लगे रहना है. How to stay alive in devotional service is to have these 3 things to keep you inspired from within. Stay joyful, stay patient and stay determined. Okay, और जो बाकी के 3 elements हैं, तत्तत् कर्मा प्रवर्तनात्, सतोवृत्ति and संग त्यागा, those 3 elements. So तत्तत् कर्मा प्रवर्तनात् means to follow the regulative principles, मतलब sadhana bhakti, like rules and regulations, do's and don'ts. That is तत्तत् कर्मा प्रवर्तनात्. संग त्यागा means to give up the association of ordinary people or materialistic world. संग त्यागा. सतो वृत्ति means to follow in the footsteps of the acharya. सताम होते हैं devotees. तो जो devotees ने सिखाया है, जैसे जो routine दिया है, especially it is said in terms of routine, in terms of lifestyle, in terms of conduct, all this should be taken from as gurus and acharyas have given you. So use follow their instructions in what routine to follow, what lifestyle to follow, what various types of devotional services to engage in. So that is sato vritte. So then you can stay alive in devotional service by so this is how to execute bhakti. तो ये अब थोड़े external matters हैं कि हमें practically कैसे execute करनी है. हमको rules and regulations follow करने हैं, regulative principles follow करने हैं. That is तत्तत् कर्म प्रवर्तनात्. हमको we have to follow in the footsteps of the acharyas. We have to follow their guidance and instructions. That is sato vritte. And we have to sanga tyaga. We have to cut back from the material world. That is how you execute bhakti. So these last 3 elements are more external. They are internal also, but more external. But the first 3 elements are typically purely internal. Utsah, Nischay, and Dhairyat. So then when you do these things, they act as catalyst for your bhakti. They augment, they enhance, they stimulate your bhakti so that you can stay in that cycle where devotional service will be going on years and years and uninterrupted and persistent, seamless and unmotivated and completely favorable to Krishna. And your faith will keep improving and your faith will further feed your devotional service and you will stay engaged. So stay in that cycle and keep increasing, enhancing the faith. Faith ऐसा नहीं है कि एक step है जो होके पार होके आगे निकल जाएंगे. So ऐसा नहीं है. Faith जो है वो continuously grow होगा throughout the life. The more you perform devotional service, the more the faith will improve. And ultimately you will go through those 9 stages of bhakti, and from faith, it starts with faith and then it will take you through all the 9 stages until you reach Krishna Prem. तो डिवोशनल सर्विस करते करते आप उस फेथ से चलते चलते योर फेथ विल बिकम सो स्ट्रांग दैट इट विल इवॉल्व इनटू कृष्ण प्रेम. तो फिर प्रेम बनेगा वो. लेकिन डिवोशनल सर्विस में लगे रहना है. तो न्यू डिवोटीज को तो न्यू लोगों को डिवोशनल सर्विस में लगना है, लेकिन जो पुराने लोग हैं ऐसा नहीं कि दे गिव अप. द practicing devotees have to stay engaged in devotional service in order to keep increasing their faith. जैसे कि एग्जाम्पल आता है, एनालॉजी आती है, सन वर्सेस फायरफ्लाई. सन जो है वो कंटिन्यूअसली चमकता है ना, और उसकी इतना तेज होता है, इतनी पावर होती है, इतनी स्ट्रेंथ होती है कि बहुत इमेंस उसमें से लाइट निकलती है, हीट निकलती है. सो हमको सूर्य जैसा बनना है जो कंटिन्यूअसली शाइन करता है एंड कंटिन्यूअसली कुछ भी हो, इट इज एंगेज्ड, इट इज very enthusiastically, very with determination, it is going on. Not like a firefly, not like जुगनू जो फ्लिकर होते हैं बल्ब की तरह. अभी कभी बहुत जोर से जल जाएंगे, बहुत ज्यादा हाइपर एक्टिव और कभी एकदम फिस। वो ऐसा नहीं होना है, परसिस्टेंटली चलते रहना है सन की तरह, फ्लिकर नहीं होने दे रही। कीप फ्यूलिंग, जैसे हमारे गुरु महाराज की वेबसाइट है फैन द स्पार्क, सो यू हैव टू कीप फैनिंग और कीप फ्यूलिंग दैट स्पार्क। फ्यूल डालते रहना है, खाद डालते रहना है, और वो खाद अंदर से आती है थ्रू एंथुजियाज्म, डिटर्मिनेशन एंड पेशेंस, और बाहर से आती है बाय फॉलोइंग द गाइडेंस, the footsteps, the instructions of the acharyas, by cutting back from the material world, and by um, following the regulative principles. So then you do not allow that flame to flicker. Rather, the flame burns very, very heavy, very, very strong, continuously, like sun. So ये आ गया first step, उत्साहन. उत्साह means enthusiasm or eagerness. This verse is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, which tells that with very great joy we should engage in चेष्टा करनी चाहिए, कोशिश करनी चाहिए कृष्णा के लिए काम करने की. और जन्म दिनादि महोत्सव, दिस इज अ डायरेक्ट इंस्ट्रक्शन की जो कृष्णा का जन्मदिन होता है, जन्माष्टमी होती है, आदि मतलब एक्सेट्रा महोत्सव फेस्टिवल्स होते हैं, उनको सेलिब्रेट करना चाहिए, जतन से माधव तिथि को फॉलो करना चाहिए, तो उन सबसे भक्ति बढ़ती है. एंथुजियाज्म रहना चाहिए. हमेशा हमें सोचना चाहिए दैट वी शुड ट्राई टू इम्प्रूव, लर्न, इम्प्रूव एंड ग्रो इन डिवोशनल सर्विस. लाइक हम कोई कथा सुनते हैं, ऐसा नहीं कि ओके मुझे नरसिंह प्रहलाद की कथा पता है तो क्या फायदा इसको सुन के. ऑलवेज स्टे जॉयफुल, ऑलवेज थिंक आई विल लर्न समथिंग न्यू, मे बी माई फेथ विल बिकम स्ट्रॉन्गर, मे बी सम ऑफ माई अनर्थas विल गो अवे बाय हियरिंग दिस katha. So always stay excited and eager, enthusiastic to learn. Never become udasin or morose in this path. Do not become ritualistic, right? Stay active and stay attentive. Like this is where we should be attentive. In क्या होता है कि हम spiritual life में तो we tune out, but material life में we are very active, very attentive, very joyful, very mindful. लेकिन spiritual life में we are mindless, we are inattentive, we are inactive, we are very passive. पीछे 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 खड़े रहते हैं. So वो एक saying होती है ना कि don't sit, people like to sit at the front of the, क्या होता है, front of the prasad line and back seat of the church. कुछ ऐसा एक saying होती है कि चर्च में तो लोग सबसे पीछे जाके बैठते हैं, लेकिन जब कहीं कुछ थिएटर वगैरह ऐसी चीजें होती हैं उसमें सबसे फ्रंट में होते हैं. तो लोग टेम्पल या चर्च या कुछ खाली पड़ा होगा उसमें सबसे पीछे जाके बैठेंगे. So this is our tendency. We don't give it much attention, our spiritual life. जबकि होना चाहिए बहुत eagerly, actively आगे आके बैठना चाहिए. So we should be very attentive, very active, very joyful. Oh, मैं कीर्तन सुनने वाला हूँ या कीर्तन करने वाला हूँ, तो बहुत खुशी होनी चाहिए अंदर से. बहुत ऐसा माइंडफुल होना चाहिए, एक एक वर्ड, एक एक हरि नाम को ध्यान से सुनना चाहिए जब गा रहे हैं कीर्तनिया. बहुत एंगेज्ड होना चाहिए. प्रेजेंट, बी प्रेजेंट फॉर द लॉर्ड, बी प्रेजेंट, बी एक्टिव, डोंट ट्यून हिम आउट. Rather, material world you can start tuning out. We have now understood that material world has not much benefit and only dangers actually. So try to tune out the material world, but stay attentive, more attentive in spiritual world. Keep it your primary focus, front and center. Spiritual life should be front and center. So this is our ultimate goal, and keep it in your eyesight. जैसे कि कोई टॉपर होता है ना क्लास का, या जैसे हम व्यवसायत्मिका बुद्धि बोलते हैं कि बिजनेसमैन की बिजनेस माइंडेड इंटेलिजेंस की प्रॉफिट कैसे होगा. So इसमें प्रॉफिट इस तरीके से होगा. So keep your eyesight on the goal. Keep your goal in front of you. Keep it front and center. Keep things exciting. Stay hopeful in spiritual life. Stay hopeful. उत्साह, निश्चय और धैर्य को मैंने एक साथ ही ले लिया कि धैर्य, निश्चय मतलब कि डिटर्मिनेशन, और धैर्य मतलब पेशेंस या फोर्टिट्यूड. पेशेंस होनी चाहिए, फर्म फेथ होना चाहिए, जैसे अभी हमने बताया कि भगवान की प्रोटेक्शन में और स्पिरिचुअल एक्टिविटीज में फेथ होनी चाहिए. सो ये तीनों एक थोड़ा ओवरलैप है तीनों में, उत्साह, निश्चय और धैर्य में, बट दिस इज व्हाट वी डिस्कस. सो नाउ let's discuss the last three. They are very quick to discuss. It will maybe take me hardly 5 minutes. So I will pause here for some question and answer. And let's have some discussion because we're almost going to finish.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji, for all the wonderful points that you shared. I just want to clarify for myself. Can you elaborate or expand on the fact you said, like to keep the devotion going, you said devotional service is a must. And when you say that, so what all are we considering as devotional service that will um, help us keep fanning that devotion? Like, I'm guessing, like, chanting, and which ones are we supposed to hold on to? Like, what's the most precious among those devotional services?
Yes, Mataji. Yeah. So the 9 limbs of devotional service that Prahlad Maharaj has given us. That is devotional service. 9 limbs of Navda Bhakti: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. So these are the 9 limbs of devotional service. Shravanam is very important. Shravanam is actually the first step in which where the devotional service starts. So usse faith bhi increase hota hai, and it is a little bit of passive service, but it is the first step. It is the most important step, and that should be ongoing throughout one's life. Okay, so Shravanam is a must. तो इसके बारे में एक वर्ड्स आती है, let me tell you. It says नित्य सिद्धा कृष्ण प्रेमे साध्या का बुनाया श्रवणादि शुद्ध चित्ते करया उदया. कि नित्य सिद्ध कृष्ण प्रेम की जो हमारे हार्ट में जो कृष्ण प्रेम है ना, नित्य सिद्ध कृष्ण प्रेम साध्या का बुनाया, वो हमें फील नहीं होता. वो फील नहीं होगा. वो तब तक फील नहीं होगा जीवा को जब तक कि वो श्रवण आदि मतलब ये श्रवण से शुरू होने वाली सारी जो डिवोशनल सर्विसेज हैं इनमें एंगेज नहीं होगा, तो उसकी जो ये स्पार्क है ये लाइट अप नहीं हो पाएगी. श्रवण आदि शुद्ध चित्ता करय उदया, देन इट विल बिकम उदित. तो ये 9 limbs of devotional service हैं जो श्रवण से शुरू होती हैं. श्रवणम has to go on throughout the life. Then कीर्तनम. So remember that इस युग का युग धर्मा कीर्तन है actually. Remember Sankirtan, Hari Naam Kirtan. So Kirtan can be either through japa or through the street Kirtan या Hari Naam Sankirtan. So it can be personally जब हम chanting करते हैं, कीर्तन करते हैं, उसको जपा बोलते हैं, which is a must for all devotees. नाम जप करना, ठीक है, नाम भजन करना. And जब हम संकीर्तन करते हैं, which is सब लोगों के साथ, जैसे हम कल कर रहे थे, temples में करते हैं या, so that sankirtan, the prem naam kirtan on the streets or together, that is also very important. But Prabhupada has told us that 70% of our progress in bhakti will come through chanting of the holy names. And all you need is your beads, you're in an isolated spot, and a nice spot in the house, in temple or somewhere that you have peace and quiet, and you just chant, and you have your personal time with Krishna. So chanting is most important, but Shravanam also, and Shravanam can be by reading also is considered part of Shravanam. So Shravanam is not just hearing, also reading. Reading is part of Shravanam. So reading, hearing, chanting. That's why जब मैं तो इन तीनों को एक साथ में ही बोलती हूँ एक लाइन में, reading, hearing, chanting.
So one thing that strikes to my mind then is external activities that are the 9 Vidha Bhakti is kind of super important along with Smaranam, right? I mean, because it's hard to do just Smaranam. And
No, I'm saying Shravanam, Mataji, not Smaranam. Shravan.
Okay,
hearing.
got it. No, I was trying to gauge between internal and external, and among the external ones, the like Shravanam, Kirtanam, and the rest of the physical services that we can do, those are key for our mind to be engaged in the devotional service, right?
Yes,
Or-
Mataji. So Mataji, I'll tell you, Nagarjun Prabhu is also answering something. Yeah, so yeah, you're very right. कि स्मरणम या जो ये बाकी की चीजें हम कर रहे हैं पर्सनल लेवल पे कर रहे हैं, बाकी चीजें थोड़ा बाहर के लेवल पे क्या करना चाहिए, राइट? तो बाहर के लेवल पर जैसे लोगों के साथ, he brought up a very nice point, he mentioned it last time also we discussed, is Vaishnav Seva. So, so Vaishnav Seva, so all these other things, of course, deity worship is also part of it, but Vaishnav Seva gives a lot of benefit. because it gives you direct mercy of the great souls, great personalities की सेवा करना, अपने गुरु महाराज की सेवा, चाहे by hearing them or if physically, or other great devotees, or not even great, like even people around us. This is all Vaishnav seva, like even just people around you, like उन लोगों के साथ भी मिलजुल के सेवाएं करना, that is all Vaishnav seva. So Vaishnav seva gives a lot of benefit, and maximum of us have actually benefited from that more than anything else. Even the Shravanam and Kirtanam have become fueled or have become fertilized by Vaishnav seva. Kyunki mercy is a very important factor in this whole system of devotional service. Mercy is needed. सिर्फ हमारे effort से कुछ नहीं होगा. तो कोई कितना भी श्रवण या कीर्तन करे, लेकिन अगर उसको मर्सी नहीं मिलेगी भक्तों की, दया नहीं मिलेगी भक्तों की, कृपा नहीं मिलेगी, तो कुछ ज्यादा कर नहीं पाएगा. तो आप बाकी जितना भी वैष्णव सेवा कर सकते हैं, डीटी वर्शिप कर सकते हैं, all these are limbs of devotional service. So on your level, reading, hearing, chanting, with on personal level or with devotees, and then Vaishnav seva, DT worship, visiting ABCDE, of course, visiting the temples, visiting the pilgrimage, visiting the temples, all that is needed. Programs, festivals. तो ये सब सेवा में, ये सब सेवा के ही अंग हैं. ABCDE हो गया या नवदा भक्ति.
Thank you, Mataji. Very sweet.
और कुछ any other points, any other thoughts before I go on?
Mataji, one question I had.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So, I know like we should not engage too much in the material world and all the stuff, but in the practical, if you see, if किसी का पेट नहीं भरा है, तो वो आगे कैसे बढ़ेगा, right? So that is also there. So there should be a balance, right?
हाँ, लेकिन हम में से किन लोगों को ऐसी प्रॉब्लम है कि पेट नहीं भरा?
I'm just wanted to just highlight that. That's all. I know.
Right. But in our situation, the people that we are discussing with, we are living in US. I mean, everybody's engaged in nice professional service. So yes, we keep highlighting the material world over and over again, but we are so immersed in material world all the time. And हम लोगों को कपड़े की, घर की, bodily demands की कोई खास problem नहीं है. I don't think. So we are not saying, we are not preaching this to Nectar of Instruction. We are not reading with, let's say, impoverished people. We are reading here in a group of people that are professionally sound and well established, and we still keep getting distracted towards material world. तो हमको कैसे वापस अपने गोल को फ्रंट और सेंटर में लाना है, that is what we are trying to do. So yeah, so I mean, I think we take a lot of material world on our plate, but never enough spiritual activities. So we really do not have that excuse कि हमारा पेट नहीं भरा या हमारे को कपड़े नहीं हैं या health issues. Yes, health issues हो सकते हैं लोगों को, पैसे के भी issues हो सकते हैं, लेकिन कम से कम भगवान के भक्त तो भूखे नहीं रहते हैं, as far as I understand.
Yes, Mataji, I just mentioned that as a, as example. I mean, paid by Naibara means, it could be like people are in anxiety, right? In US, people are always in anxiety about the job, about that, this. So they're always insecure. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, so this is the real solution, Prabhuji, to take your attention a little bit away, because क्यों anxiety है, क्यों frustration है? Because we have expectations from the material world. So we have to, because we are keeping material world in front and center. So we think that is the perfection. अगर उसमें हमारा थोड़ा कम हो गया, so we become anxious, we become fearful of losing a position, a situation in life. But if we understand that that's not the real thing, so even more important to pay attention to these spiritual activities, कि इससे ध्यान हटाओ थोड़ा, इसमें इतना रमे हुए हो, still getting anxious and still not getting good enough taste. So proper चीज पे ध्यान लगाओ, become transcendental, so that you see that these things are actually very, very temporary. The things that you're getting anxious and frustrated and angry and depressed about, these actually never meant anything or much at all in long run. So like कल भी हम ये example दे रहे थे कि हम downtown में खड़े हैं जमीन पे and we're looking at all these high rise buildings and we're looking up and getting overwhelmed. Oh my God, how big these buildings are. So the solution is not to pay more attention to those buildings. The solution is to rise above and get in the aeroplane so that those buildings become small and you put yourself on a high vantage point where you see that these things actually never mattered anyway. I'm getting frustrated, anxious, depressed, and morose about this. This is just for this lifetime. Even in this lifetime, it's just maybe for a few months, a few years, and that's it. So, and I'm ready to give up my whole eternal joy for this. So even more important that we get ourselves, हमने बहुत उसमें सर घुसाया हुआ है material world में, तो we get very overwhelmed by it, and that is the nature of material world, to give us fear, anxieties, depression, and overwhelms us. So even more important that we take to spiritual practice to get relief from those dangers of anxieties, fears caused by material world. Does that help, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji. Yeah, I just wanted to share that. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah. And thanks for bringing that point. But yeah, we have many excuses. Myself included. Like, I'm not saying this to any of you here. I'm saying this to myself. बहुत इस दुनिया में हम अच्छे से रमे हुए हैं, and we're taking a lot of delight and pleasure in it, and just need to shift our focus on the what is more important. तो इसलिए ये बात कर रहे हैं ताकि बार बार we can keep bringing us back to the focus. कि मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल देती हूँ. आज ही मैंने सुना था, कोई बता रहे थे कि जब फुटबॉल, ये जो गेम होती है फुटबॉल, इसमें you all familiar with Messi, right? Messi is a great player, great athlete, वर्ल्ड फेमस है ना, वर्ल्ड रिनाउंड. तो कोई बता रहा था कि उसके पास पूरी इतनी बड़ी गेम में बॉल कितनी देर के लिए आती है, उसकी वजह से मैच जीत जाते हैं, पूरा मैच जीत जाते हैं लोग. उसके पास बॉल कितनी देर के लिए आती है? उसके पास, कोई गेस कर सकता है कि इतने लंबे मैच में मेसी के पास बॉल कितनी देर तक रहती है?
Probably 10 minutes.
1.5 minute.
Oh wow.
वो 1.5 minute के लिए वो बहुत स्ट्रगल करता है, लेकिन because people are not giving him the ball, he's but वो 1.5 minute में is a game changer. It changes the game and the game is won. पर उसके लिए उसको बहुत मेहनत करनी पड़ती है. So कहने का मतलब है कि most of the time we are off track, and we understand that most of the time we are off track. We are focusing on our material problems, bodily problems, anxieties, family related things, community related, country related, all this, health problems, everything. Yes. So most of the time we are off track. But devotional service is so powerful, like Messi, कि अगर उसको 1.5 minute का भी टाइम मिला है तो उसमें उसने गेम चेंज कर दी. So devotional service is so powerful कि जो हम ये थोड़ा टाइम भी दे पा रहे हैं वो गेम चेंजर है. ठीक है, it will change. But for that we have to keep reminding us. We need these reminders. जैसे हम पूरे हफ्ते में क्या एक बार ऐसे 1-1.5 घंटा क्लास कर रहे हैं ना, तो भी उसमें ही हम अपने आप को फोकस एंड सेंटर कर रहे हैं. तो सारा हफ्ता तो हमने अपनी दूसरी एक्टिविटीज में निकाला, सारा दिन हमने दूसरी एक्टिविटीज में निकाला, सुबह सिर्फ हमने 10 मिनट कुछ रीड कर लिया, राइट? तो क्या करें हम, वो ही गेम चेंज कर देगा. वो 10 मिनट इज अ गेम चेंजर फॉर रेस्ट ऑफ द डे, फॉर रेस्ट ऑफ द लाइफ. So still we are giving more, no doubt. We are, even now, even having said all this, even me, everyone is giving more prominence to the material life only, no doubt. But devotional service is so powerful that if at all times we keep coming back to it, give it some time, वो 1.5 minute जो मेसी को मिला उतना टाइम अगर डिवोशनल सर्विस को मिलता है, जो असाइंड टाइम है, तो it will change our life. It will get perfection of life, will win the game of life. पर बार बार सेंटर में आते जाना है, बार बार बॉल उसको देनी है somehow. So this is just
Yes, Mataji, good, very good point.
Yeah. I just had another question. I always get confused between, I think I asked you earlier also, Satovritti and Tatit Karma Pravartanat. The Pravartanath is following the in the footsteps of great devotees, and Sato Vritte is doing activities which are conducive to Krishna consciousness, right?
Sato Vritte is following in the footsteps of acharyas. Remember, Sato words comes from Satam. Remember? Janmadhyasya yato anvayat itaratas. नहीं, गलत वर्ड बोल रहा हूँ. धर्मा प्रोजित कैतवत्र परमो निर्मत्सरानाम सताम. निर्मत्सर होते हैं नॉन एनवियस. सताम डिवोटीज. निर्मत्सर सताम मतलब नॉन एनवियस डिवोटीज. सो सताम वर्ड आता है डिवोटीज. या फिर सताम प्रसंगानमं वीर संविदो. दैट वन. सो सताम से याद रखो सतो. So it's opposite. Sato Vritte is to follow in the footsteps of the devotees, acharyas or great teachers, great personalities. So we can come to that. Actually, it will just take me a few minutes. Because there is some overlap. You're right. That's why there is confusion, because they're similar. So how to execute? So the last three, tat karma pravartanat, Sato Vritte and Sangatyaga. All these are how to execute devotional service. So externally, how to execute so Prabhupada says in this purport, he gives two things: under the guidance of Guru and by following Yukta Vairagya. So he says, so tat karma pravartanat, basically following regulative principles which are given by Guru, right, or acharyas. Sato Vritte also means to follow in the footsteps of Guru or acharya. So they are both together under the guidance of Guru. And Sangatyaga also is under the guidance of Guru. Yukta Vairagya means to use everything in relationship with Krishna. See everything in relation to Krishna. So actually हम जो ये material spiritual बोलते हैं ना बार-बार, this is not very correct understanding. Devotee has only one life, that is spiritual life. Their material life also becomes spiritual. So even like maintaining body, जैसे हम पेट भरने की बात करें, कपड़े की, जो भी, profession की, health ki, all this for devotee is actually all spiritual only, because he knows that he has to maintain his body. So he's working, so he's communicating with the family or in the community, or supporting the family, supporting the community, supporting his body. Why? Because he knows that all these things are the tools given to him by Krishna. So he's helping to flourish them. So for devotee, actually there is no distinction between material and spiritual life. तो हमको ये बहुत ज़्यादा ये terminology use करनी नहीं चाहिए. This constitutional duty, conditional duties, material, spiritual. Because for devotee, actually, if you're properly situated, everything is related to Krishna. Everything is in connection to Krishna. Slowly we have to get away from these terms. But क्योंकि हम preaching में हैं, जिसमें ये हार्ड डिमार्केशन है बिटवीन मटेरियल एंड स्पिरिचुअल, इसलिए हम ये वर्ड्स यूज करते हैं. लेकिन ये हार्ड डिमार्केशन होनी नहीं चाहिए, बिकॉज फॉर अ डिवोटी इवन देयर प्रोफेशन एवरीथिंग इज स्पिरिचुअल ओनली. सो वी डोंट नीड टू हैव लाइक दिस एज ए कंप्लीट डिवोर्स ऑफ टू थिंग्स. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. देयर इज वन थिंग. डिवोटी की लाइफ कंप्लीटली कृष्णा को दी हुई है, completely surrendered है to Krishna, to Guru. So everything he is doing is under the guidance of Guru and is in relationship to Krishna. तो ये दोनों points डिवोशनल सर्विस में आते हैं. तो इसलिए उसकी पूरी लाइफ डिवोशनल सर्विस है. ऐसा नहीं है कि वो, जैसे आप पूछ रहे हो कि क्या एक्टिविटीज होती हैं डिवोशनल सर्विस में, ऐसा नहीं है कि जो वो सुबह चैंटिंग कर रहा है या रीडिंग कर रहा है, हियरिंग कर रहा है, प्रसाद खा रहा है, सिर्फ वही डिवोशनल एक्टिविटीज है, और जब वो काम पे जा रहा है तो वो नॉन डिवोशनल एक्टिविटीज है. ऐसा नहीं है. जब when Arjun was fighting, that fighting the war was a devotional activity. That was a very hardcore devotional activity. तो वो ऐसे वो भक्ति के इस 9 अंगों में फिट नहीं होती. लेकिन भक्त की हर एक्टिविटी डिवोशनल होती है, बिकॉज एवरीथिंग इज डन अंडर द गाइडेंस ऑफ गुरु. It is done in relation to Krishna. So everything in the life needs to be done under the guidance of Guru or Acharyas or seniors, and everything in life should be seen in relationship to, should be used, should be seen in relationship to Krishna. Whether it's your family members, your community, your country, your profession, your body, your health, your kapda, your food, everything should be in relationship to Krishna. तो इसलिए युक्त वैराग्य होना चाहिए. तो ये दोनों चीजें होनी चाहिए, इसलिए ये हार्ड डिमार्केशन की हैबिट से हमको थोड़ा दूर जाना है। तो भक्तों के संग में जब हम हैं तो हम ये बात बोलना कम कर सकते हैं कि मटीरियल, स्पिरिचुअल, कंडीशनल, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल, ऑल दिस इज नॉट नीडेड एक्चुअली। ठीक है, फिर संग त्यागा, वी नो, सो द तत्त कर्म प्रवर्तनात् इज टू फॉलो द रेगुलेटिव प्रिंसिपल्स। आई थिंक यू नो ऑल ऑफ दोज। भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु में रूप गोस्वामी हैज गिवन 64 regulative principles. And actually the 9 limbs of devotional service are part of that regulative principles. तो जो ये 9 लिम्ब हैं भक्ति के, ये regulative principles हैं, हमको ये करने चाहिए। तो it is not कि क्या करूं क्या नहीं करूं, श्रवणम भी करना चाहिए, कीर्तनम भी करना चाहिए, अर्चना मतलब डीटी वर्शिप, प्रेयर्स ऑफर करना, वंदनम प्रेयर्स ऑफर करना भी करना चाहिए। Yes, all these things we have to do. Pad Sevnam you can do by visiting the temples and pilgrimages. You can do Sakhyam and Dasyam through the devotees, Vaishnav Seva karke. So those are part of regulative principles actually. So there are 64 regulative principles given in the Nectar of Devotion. So Sangha Tyaga we know is, so that was Tat Karma Pravartana. Then Sangha Tyaga is to avoid materialistic association. This we know. इसमें मैं आपको एक इंटरेस्टिंग पॉइंट बताती हूँ, बट लेट्स एक बार थोड़ा आगे चलते हैं। सतोवृत्ति, following in the footsteps of previous acharyas, follow their routine. They have given us instruction to rise early, attend Mangal Aarti, chant, read, hear, perform kirtan. We have examples of great grahastas. Since we are grahastas, we will take example of great grahastas like Bhakti Vinod Thakur and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, who used to go to work. They had extensive family and they did not neglect any of their responsibilities. They were earning money, but again, nothing was separate, material या spiritual. ऐसे नहीं था उनके लिए. Everything is spiritual only. Everything is for Krishna only. So घर भी कृष्णा के लिए है, मनी भी कृष्णा के लिए है, फैमिली भी, उनकी अपनी बॉडी भी और उनकी अपनी हेल्थ भी, इसलिए they have great responsibility to actually take care of all of those things. So सतोवृत्ति. एक let me show you this verse. This will clear one nice understanding for you. So ये जो वर्स है संग त्यागा, ये वर्स आती है, संग त्यागा के बारे में चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने बोला है in Chaitanya Charitamrit. It is said, असत्संग त्यागा ए वैष्णव आचार, स्त्री संगी एक असाधु कृष्णा भक्ता आर. A Vaishnav should always avoid the association of ordinary people. Asatsanga tyaga, a Vaishnav achar. Common people are very much materially attached, especially to women. Stri sangi. Vaishnav should also avoid the company of those who are not devotees of Lord Krishna. Okay? Krishna Bhakta are. Now, this is very important, nice point to understand. Please pay attention, especially women. So क्या अब कोई इसमें offend हो सकता है? स्त्री संगी ऐसा क्यों बोल रहे हैं कि people that are attached to women? And somebody can say that I am actually mingling with people that they're not very attached to women. They're not stri sangi. They are not like women hunters or anything. They are very nice, cultured people. So आप ऐसा क्यों बोल रहे हो? They are stri sangi and I should give up their association. Somebody can say that, right? तो इसमें क्या मतलब है स्त्री संगी का? तो सब उसके लिए हमें और हमारे स्क्रिप्चर्स में अक्सर ये डिमार्केशन आती है पुरुष और स्त्री की. इसका क्या मतलब है? Why is it discriminating against women? Is it saying that it is very bad to associate with women or what? Like women are very fallen or what does it mean? So what it means is, तो उसके लिए हमें स्त्री और पुरुष समझना होगा क्या होता है. पुरुष होता है इंजॉयर और स्त्री होती है वो चीज जिसको इंजॉय किया जाता है. ओके, एनर्जी एंड एनर्जेटिक. तो इस दुनिया में सब लोग जो हैं वो स्त्री हैं. एक्चुअली ऑल जीवास आर स्त्री. दे आर टू बी इंजॉयड बाय कृष्णा. दे आर द प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ द लॉर्ड. दे आर मेंट फॉर एंजॉयमेंट ऑफ कृष्णा. बट वी आर हियर in this material world because we are in the purush bhav. We are in the enjoyer tendency, enjoyer mindset. That's why we are here. तो इसलिए हमें पुरुष भाव है, पुरुष मान है. हमें पुरुष मान सिर्फ कृष्णा को होना चाहिए because he is the only enjoyer in this world. Jivas are not enjoyers, but we are sevaks, we are das. तो लेकिन हम यहाँ पर बैठे हैं क्योंकि हमें पुरुष भाव है, हमें लॉर्डशिप मेंटालिटी है. तो जो डिवोटीज होते हैं दे हैव दास्य भाव और स्त्री भाव. they know that they are to serve the Lord. They are to be enjoyed by the Lord. Their life is meant to give pleasure to the Lord. Their life is meant to give joy to the Lord. So they should have that दास्य भाव. लेकिन हम बैठे हैं पुरुष मेंटालिटी से. तो जो दुनिया में लोग होते हैं, there are not devotees, that are not Krishna bhaktas, they have this enjoyer tendency, they have this purush bhav is very prominent. So they are called Stri Sangis because they like to enjoy this world a lot. They like to, they are in this Purush Bhav. So they are called Stri Sangi. So any materialistic person, whether it's a man or a female, it does not matter what body you are in. Like I am a Stri Sangi. Why? Because I have this enjoy tendency. I have this tendency to enjoy various pleasures of this world. So the world that should be used in service of Krishna, I tend to enjoy it. So I'm a Stri Sangi. So despite your gender, most people are Stri Sangi. Okay? And they have this Purush Bhav, Purush Man. तो हमको ये समझना होगा कि ऐसे लोगों की हमें attachment छोड़ने को बोला गया है, which are very materialistically inclined, because we all are here because of this Purush Bhav. And if we associate with other people that have Purush Bhav, whether a जेंडर हिसाब से, बॉडी हिसाब से, चाहे वो आदमी हो औरत हो, डज नॉट मैटर. अगर उसको पुरुष भाव है, अगर उसको ये दुनिया की एंजॉयमेंट की पड़ी है, देन दे कैन डिस्ट्रैक्ट यू फ्रॉम द spiritual path. So when it is saying sang tyaga, it is just saying to detach, to little bit dissociate from such people who are so materially inclined to enjoy this world that they will distract you, और आप उसमें बह जाओगे. tendency of purush bhav में enjoyer tendency बोलते हैं जिसको. So we are here because of our enjoy tendency, lordship mentality. But yeah, so the first three elements, utsah, nischay, dhairyat, is something we have to practice internally. We have to stay alive in this bhakti. We have to stay focused. We have to stay active, attentive, mindfully indulge in spiritual activities. And the last three elements are how to execute devotional service under the guidance of teachers by following regulative principles and by dissociating from this world, seeing everything in relation to Krishna with Yukta Vairagya and not for your own enjoyment. I will stop here. Any questions, thoughts, realizations, comments, please share.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nice. Appreciate it.
Be bold. Thank you, Mataji. Or koi Nagarjan Prabhu, you want to share any points?
Hare Krishna. I think very nicely explained, very important verse and very practical verse for our day-to-day life as to things we should do and what can enhance our devotional service. And I like that how you have described that first verse of NOI is for how to live in this world and how to live in the body and how to live in now. Third is how to live in devotional service. So that's a nice way to remember. Thank you. Oh, one thing I was mentioning was in the comments also for devotees. Our best example for most of us are grihasthas is the life of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, that we can take a lot of inspiration from his life, and it's an ideal way a grihastha is engaging. We can see practically how he was engaged from morning to night in all devotional activities, and he was excellent at his work too, and he was appreciated by not just he was like, even the Britishers were appreciating his efficiency to the point they made a railway line to his house. So he was that efficient in the work also. So sometimes we have this tendency to be distracted at work, but it's actually recommended that we are focused on the work when we are working and do it efficiently so that we actually can save time.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
It is a great responsibility. Actually, coming to Krishna consciousness, I have seen that my mindfulness, focus, everything has improved. Like even at work, and अच्छे से efficiently, सब कुछ efficiently, smoothly हो जाता है. और पूरे मन लगा के, तो हर चीज मन लगा के करनी है, हर चीज, हर काम जो आपको, हर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दी गई है फैमिली की, किसी भी चीज की, पूरा मन लगा के करनी है. And I really think जो ये 6 points इनमें से लास्ट के 3 पॉइंट चलो रेगुलेटिव प्रिंसिपल्स या गुरु की गाइडेंस फॉलो करना या फिर लोगों से डिटैच होना, थोड़ा मटेरियलिस्टिक लोगों से, ऑल दोस थिंग्स तो फिर भी हो जाती हैं. द फर्स्ट 3 एलिमेंट्स उत्साह, निश्चय और धैर्य आर वेरी वेरी हार्ड टू अचीव, क्योंकि वी टेंड टू बिकम इम्पेशेंट, वी टेंड टू बिकम होपलेस, होपफुल नहीं रह पाते, जॉयफुल नहीं रह पाते, एक्साइटेड, ईगर नहीं रह पाते. तो उत्साह, निश्चय और धैर्य बहुत मुश्किल से आता है. If you allow me, can I'm going to share this poem of Harivansh Rai Bachchan. It's very nice. It's called अड़े रहो. ठीक है? It goes like this. गर जुनून हो सर पे तेरे और अंतर में हो विश्वास, फिर ठोकर और ठुकराने का होगा कहाँ तुम्हें एहसास. मकसद में सच्चाई है तो सीना ठोक के यही कहो, झुकना होगा दुनिया तुमको, विश्वास पे अपने खड़े रहो. दुनिया बदली है जिसने भी, पहले उसको इनकार मिला, अपनों अपमानों का हार मिला और तानों का उपहार मिला. हर श्वास में अब विश्वास भरो और लहरों के विपरीत बहो, हाथों में विजय मशाल लिए विश्वास पे अपने खड़े रहो. अपने सपने तुम स्वयं चुनो और बुन लो विश्वास की डोरी से, तुम विजय गर्जना के नायक, तुम्हें क्या करना लोरी से. तुम स्वयं सिद्ध इस जीवन के, उन्मुक्त गगन में उड़े चलो, आरंभ आज से नवयुग का, विश्वास पे अपने खड़े रहो, अड़े रहो, अड़े रहो, अड़े रहो. So since we truly believe, if we truly believe that this path is the best thing for us, then we should just stay on it. Don't give up. Okay, shall we stop here? Okay, let's stop. And thank you everyone for joining. Vancha kaltarubhischa kripa sindhuvaivanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Gurve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah. Srila Rup Goswami Pad ki jai. Updeshamrit ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Guru and Gauranga. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.